You know, there is this incredibly distinct sound that you hear in almost any shopping mall these days.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Right. It's that heavy metallic rattle of a security grate being pulled down over a storefront for the very last time.
Yeah, it really does have a specific ring to it.
It feels so final, you know? Like a business closes, the lights go out, and we generally just assume that's the end of the story. That rattling grate feels like an ending.
Well, it definitely looks like one from the outside. I mean, it's designed to look final.
But what if I told you it's actually a trap?
Right.
Because when a physical store closes, the data shows that the customers don't just magically go to the brand's website. They actually vanish.
They completely disappear from the ecosystem.
Exactly. So today we're looking at the hidden multi-trillion-dollar digital machinery that companies are desperately building to try and win you back.
It is a massive undertaking.
Welcome to the deep dive. Whether you are a business leader, an entrepreneur, or just, insanely curious about the hidden systems running the modern world, this exploration is going to completely change how you look at shopping.
Absolutely.
So our mission today is to unpack the monumental shift from traditional brick-and-mortar stores to these massive, invisible digital marketplaces. We've got a crazy stack of sources today, right?
Oh, yeah. We have a massive collection of academic research, BCG consulting reports, tech blueprints, and some really fascinating real-world case studies.
Ranging from global telematics all the way to massive retail giants. Okay, let's unpack this, starting with just the sheer scale of the brick-and-mortar crisis.
Yeah, so the landscape has fractured completely. I mean, if you look at the numbers since 2018, e-commerce has grown by 121.6%.
Wow, over 120%.
Exactly. Meanwhile, physical retail is virtually stagnant. We are looking at over 15,000 projected store closures in 2025 alone.
15,000 in 1 year. That's just nuts.
It really is.
Ah.
And one of the case studies we looked at highlighted the recent bankruptcy of Jo-Ann Fabrics. They were just crushed under the weight of incredibly high fixed overhead costs and, well, severe inventory mismanagement.
Okay, but hold on. If a retailer is bleeding cash on a lease, cutting that overhead seems like, business 101.
You would think so, right?
Yeah, like if a physical location is losing money, shouldn't shutting it down just force those loyal customers to open their laptops and buy from the brand's website instead? I mean, the inventory's still there online.
See, that is the exact assumption that is costing retailers millions of dollars right now.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it is what analysts actually call the trap of just closing shop.
Mm.
Because, human behavior rarely fits neatly into a spreadsheet.
Fair point.
When researchers at George Mason University actually tracked comprehensive online and offline transaction data for a major retailer, they found something completely counterintuitive.
Okay.
Shuttering a physical store doesn't redirect customers online. It actually results in a massive net monthly sales loss.
Wait, an overall net loss? Like across the board, how much are we talking about per store?
An average loss of approximately $209,317 per closed location.
No way.
Every single month.
Over $200,000.
Yeah. And to put that in perspective, that is equivalent to 18% of the average monthly per county sales for that specific retailer.
So let me get this straight. By trying to save money on rent and electricity, they are accidentally wiping out nearly $250,000 in sales per region.
Exactly.
Why on earth does that happen?
Well, what's fascinating here is that it comes down to psychology. Consumers are inherently stability-seeking.
Okay.
When a company shutters a physical location, they aren't just, adjusting their balance sheet. They're broadcasting a profoundly negative brand signal.
Ah, I see what you mean.
Right. Because when you drive past your favorite store and see brown paper over the windows, it breaks your routine. It damages your confidence in that company.
Yeah, you instantly get a going out of business vibe, even if the actual corporate entity is doing just fine globally.
Exactly. And instead of taking the extra step to go find that brand's website, shoppers often just defect entirely.
They just go somewhere else.
Yeah, they drive down the street and go to a competitor whose physical doors are still visibly open. The physical store acts as an anchor for consumer trust.
That makes a lot of sense. But there also has to be a mechanical aspect to this, right?
I mean,
Like, think about the physical checkout experience versus the digital one. In a store, it's pure muscle memory. You walk up to a register, hand the cashier a shirt, tap your phone or card, and walk out. It requires almost zero cognitive load.
oh, for sure. Now compare that to the friction of digital onboarding.
Right.
To buy that exact same shirt online, you have to create an account. You have to verify your email.
Invent a password with a special character that you'll inevitably forget next time.
Exactly. You have to input your shipping address, navigate some clunky mobile interface.
I abandon online carts all the time just because I don't want to get off the couch to go find my credit card and my wallet.
Right, and those people do. For a lot of physical shoppers, that digital process is so tedious that they just give up.
Wow.
So shutting the physical doors and retreating to a basic standalone e-commerce site is basically a fatal mistake for a brand right now.
Which means companies have to figure out a way to build a seamless bridge between the physical and digital worlds.
They absolutely have to.
So let's talk about that bridge. Looking through the data, the retailers who are actually surviving this whole retail apocalypse, they're adopting an omni-channel strategy.
Yes, omnichannel is the key buzzword here.
Right. They aren't abandoning their physical spaces. They are fundamentally changing what happens inside them. They are turning them into experiential hubs.
They have to. I mean, they are deploying in-store QR codes so you can scan a physical item and instantly read online reviews.
Oh, nice.
They're installing augmented reality fitting rooms. And crucially, they are leaning heavily into BOPI.
Buy online, pick up in-store?
Exactly. The OPIS gives you the massive browsing capability of the digital world, but you get the instant gratification of physical retail. You completely bypass shipping fees and those annoying transit delays.
But the really wild part to me is what happens on the digital end of that bridge. Because the companies winning this game, they aren't just running standard e-commerce sites anymore.
No, they're not.
They're transforming themselves into multi-vendor marketplaces.
And this is the core of the whole commerce revolution we're seeing. The scale of this shift is honestly difficult to overstate.
It's massive.
Right now, 67% of all online sales flow through marketplaces, not standalone e-commerce sites.
Almost 70%.
Yeah. And if we look at the business-to-business sector, the B2B e-commerce market is projected to hit $44.5 trillion by 2029.
Trillion with a T.
With a T, marketplaces are growing 7 times faster than traditional e-commerce.
You know, think about it like real estate.
Yeah.
Running a traditional e-commerce site is like trying to build, paint, and furnish every single house in a neighborhood all by yourself.
Right.
You carry all the risk, you buy all the lumber, and if no one buys the houses, you go bankrupt.
Yeah, it's incredibly risky.
But transitioning to a multi-vendor marketplace, that's like acting as the landlord who simply provides the neighborhood infrastructure, you know, the roads, the plumbing, the security, and then you let thousands of independent sellers come in and build and furnish their own houses.
That's a great analogy, yes, but with one major catch.
What's that?
As the landlord in this digital neighborhood, if one of your tenants sells a bad product or fails to ship an item, the customer blames you.
Not the tenant.
Right, not the tenant. The reputational risk sits squarely in the platform.
That makes total sense. I mean, if I buy something on a big platform and it's broken, I don't get mad at the random third-party seller with a weird acronym for a name. I get mad at the platform I bought it through.
Exactly. However, the economic incentives for taking on that reputational risk are incredibly powerful.
Okay, break that down for me.
Well, first, there is zero inventory risk for the marketplace operator. You don't have warehouses full of depreciating stock that you eventually have to put on clearance just to get rid of it.
Because the sellers hold the inventory.
Exactly. Second, you achieve infinite assortment. You can offer millions of products to the consumer without purchasing a single unit upfront yourself.
Which totally solves the problem of a customer leaving your site just because they couldn't find the exact color or size they wanted.
Yep. And third, it offers incredible operational scalability. This all translates to a massive financial upside.
How massive are we talking?
Well, BCG reports that successfully operating a marketplace can add 5 to 7% to a company's EBITDA margin.
Okay, just to clarify the jargon for a second for everyone, EBITDA is essentially a company's core operational profitability, right?
Yes, essentially the bottom line before a few accounting technicalities.
So we're talking about adding 5 to 7% straight to the bottom line. That is a massive boost for any established company.
Huge.
But where's that revenue actually coming from, if not from the direct markup on the physical goods like the old days?
The revenue models are highly layered now. So you have standard commission fees on every sale, obviously.
Right, a cut of the transaction.
But you also have listing fees, where sellers pay just to display their items on your digital shelves.
Like paying for premium shelf space in a grocery store.
Exactly like that. Then there are subscription models for premium seller analytics dashboards, freemium access tiers, and lead fees, where vendors pay you for verified customer clicks.
Wow, so they are monetizing every single interaction.
Every single one. Massive retail giants are shifting to this. If you look at Tesco or Woolworths with their Everyday Market initiative, they have integrated third-party sellers into their existing digital storefronts to create these massive, highly profitable hybrid marketplaces.
Okay, acting as the digital landlord sounds great on paper,
Sure does.
but practically speaking, this sounds like a logistical nightmare.
Well, it's incredibly complex.
I mean, coordinating payments, tracking shipping, and managing returns for thousands of independent sellers all over the world. Standard website software has to just buckle under that kind of pressure?
Oh, standard e-commerce platforms fundamentally fail at marketplace scale. They simply aren't built to handle multiple vendors moving simultaneously.
So what do they use?
To make a multi-vendor ecosystem work, you require what the tech industry calls headless, API-first architecture.
Headless architecture. Okay, let's ground that concept for a second.
Sure.
I'm picturing a restaurant. Is it basically like decoupling the dining room from the kitchen?
Okay, I like where you're going with this.
Like the dining room, the front end that the customer actually sees can be totally redesigned, redecorated, or moved. But the kitchen, the complex back-end commerce engine stays exactly the same. And the waiters are the APIs running the specific orders back and forth between them.
That is an excellent way to visualize it. Currently, 73% of digital businesses use this architecture.
73%.
Yeah, because it allows them to instantly plug in those third-party waiters for things like localized currency conversion or dynamic search or inventory syncing without having to rewrite their entire website's core code.
That makes sense, but I'm still stuck on the payment mechanics.
Okay, what's tripping you up?
Let's say I'm on one of these hybrid marketplaces. I put 3 different items from 3 totally different independent sellers into my single shopping cart.
Yep.
I click buy, and I make 1 credit card payment.
Right.
Who actually holds my money? Does the platform just take it all and promise to pay the sellers later? I mean, how does this not break the system?
That specific scenario is handled by the magic of the blended cart. And it relies on 3 critical mechanisms operating in literal milliseconds.
Okay.
You've got unified multi-vendor checkout, intelligent order routing, and escrow payouts.
Break that down for me. How does the cash flow?
Well, the moment you click buy, the platform's payment gateway collects your single credit card payment.
Okay, so they have money.
Right. Instantly, the system's algorithm calculates the specific commission owed to the marketplace for each of those 3 distinct items.
Got it.
The platform takes its cut immediately, but the remaining funds do not go directly to the sellers.
Where do they go?
They are placed into secure digital escrow accounts.
Oh, so the platform locks the money in a vault.
Precisely. Meanwhile, the intelligent order routing system digitally splits your single order into 3 separate suborders and fires them off to the fulfillment dashboards of those 3 different vendors.
Okay, so the vendors get the message to ship, but they don't have the money yet.
Exactly. The vendors pack their boxes and ship their items. The funds sitting in escrow are only released to the vendors' bank accounts once specific verifiable shipping milestones are met.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like a UPS tracking number registering in the system, or you, the customer, actually clicking delivery confirmed.
That is actually a brilliant mechanic. It completely protects the buyer from getting scammed by a fake seller, and it protects the platform from having to pay out massive refunds out of their own pocket because the seller disappeared.
Exactly. And the physical scale required to support this digital routing is mind-bending.
I bet.
Take the case study we have from Geodis, a major global logistics provider. To handle the physical volume of packages during peak marketplace seasons, their warehouse infrastructure literally has to scale from 1,000 square meters to 40,000 square meters in just 6 weeks.
Wait, they multiply their physical footprint 40 times over in a month and a half?
Yes, it's an incredible logistical feat, and you have to pair that physical scale with back-end digital efficiency.
Right.
Look at the global telematics company from our sources. They shifted 80% of their marketing budget entirely to digital channels.
Okay.
By deploying Salesforce CRM, which basically acts as the digital brain, managing every customer interaction and tracking every lead, they were able to handle all these complex back-end routing and automation tasks.
And what were the results?
They generated 100 leads per region monthly, all while cutting their human sales force costs by 50%.
Wow. So the software is really doing the heavy lifting of matching buyers to sellers. But managing that level of scale, routing millions of orders and predicting inventory, you can't just do that with a basic script anymore, right? You essentially have to hand the keys over to AI.
You do. You have to.
Yeah.
But Deploying generative AI in an enterprise marketplace introduces massive compliance risks.
I can imagine.
Handing your entire inventory routing or customer service over to an algorithm sounds great until the AI hallucinates and routes $1 million of inventory to a warehouse that doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, that would be a disaster.
Which brings up a really important concept outlined by the banking vision source we looked at. It's called the hybrid approach to AI governance,
Yeah.
specifically minimum viable governance, or MVG.
Okay, wait. If I'm building an AI to run my massive marketplace, I assume I want maximum governance, not minimum. What does MVG actually mean in practice?
Well, think about setting up a generative AI assistant to help buyers find highly specific niche products.
Yeah.
You don't want to wait a year to write a rigid 1,000-page rulebook before launching it.
Right.
By the time you finish, the tech is totally obsolete.
Right, things move too fast.
So MVG means setting up lightweight, highly auditable controls from day one. You balance top-down compliance like strict guardrails on data privacy so the AI doesn't accidentally leak competitor pricing.
That would be bad.
Very bad. But you balance that with bottom-up innovation, where the development teams can adjust the AI's matching algorithms in real time based on actual user search habits.
So instead of spending a year building an unbreakable concrete wall around the AI before you even turn it on, you basically just put down traffic cones.
Huh, exactly.
You let the AI run, watch where it swerves, and then replace the cones with concrete only where you actually need it.
That is a perfect analogy.
Mm-hmm.
You review and adjust the AI governance iteratively, keeping the system agile. You get the speed without letting it turn into the Wild West.
That makes total sense.
But if we connect this to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
even with flawless headless technology, escrow vaults, and perfectly governed AI routing, it is completely useless if the customer fundamentally doesn't trust the platform.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh,
Because trust is incredibly fragile in a digital ecosystem, there is a shocking cautionary tale from one of our sources, Infosys, that highlights exactly how fast it can vanish.
this story is wild.
It is. An American couple was vacationing in Costa Rica, and they took a simple Uber ride. But because of a back-end currency conversion error on the platform, they were charged $29,994 for a $55 ride.
30 grand for an Uber. A catastrophic technical failure.
Absolutely. But the technical glitch isn't actually what ruined the trust.
No.
No, it was the aftermath. The couple was stranded in a foreign country with a totally drained bank account, and the platform's lack of responsive human customer support turned an error into a complete nightmare.
Right, because there's no one to actually talk to.
Exactly. There were 4 days of finger pointing between the app's automated systems and the couple's bank. The couple publicly stated they would never use the app again.
Understandably.
Once that trust is broken in a digital marketplace, because you feel locked into a faceless machine, you cannot easily win it back.
Which is exactly why the currency of the future isn't just slick API routing, it's community.
Community.
Yeah. Think about it in a physical store. Trust is easy to establish. You can touch the fabric. You can look the store owner in the eye.
Right, you can read their body language.
But online, you are navigating a sea of strangers and anonymous algorithms.
So how do you replicate the feeling of looking a store owner in the eye when you're just staring at a glowing screen?
You leverage existing communities. The data from Destination CRM is super clear on this. It shows that 98% of consumers trust product recommendations from community members.
98%.
Almost everyone. And 64% engage with online communities daily. Buyers are just increasingly skeptical of anonymous 5-star reviews on massive generalist platforms.
Oh, for sure. Everyone knows bots exist. Everyone knows reviews can be bought in bulk.
Exactly.
Which brings us to a platform mentioned in the sources called Trusty.
Yes, trusty.
They are taking a completely revolutionary approach to this problem by basically trying to build a digital neighborhood. Instead of letting just anyone on the internet leave an anonymous review, Trusty uses a 4-click review process that is only visible within self-selected micronetworks.
Right, micronetworks meaning tightly defined, verified groups of people.
Exactly. So imagine a network exclusively for your company's colleagues, or a network just for the parents at your local school.
Oh, I see.
The product feedback is anchored to real, verifiable identities and shared context.
That's brilliant.
It completely eliminates internet trolls because you are only seeing reviews from people you actually have a connection with in the real world.
Right.
It takes the massive, intimidating digital marketplace and makes it feel exactly like leaning over the fence and asking a trusted neighbor for a recommendation.
That shared context changes the entire dynamic. And it highlights why the era of the everything store might actually be peaking. Yeah, we are seeing niche curation begin to take over. Specialized, highly curated marketplaces are outcompeting massive generalists because they inherently foster community trust from day one.
Like a marketplace that only sells to a specific profession.
Precisely. You see it with marketplaces focused solely on healthcare supplies for medical professionals or platforms dedicated exclusively to crafting and handmade goods.
Oh, like a digital farmer's market.
Yeah. And in the real estate sector, specialized tools like REA keep agents and buyers connected in a highly specific ecosystem. Because these platforms are so focused, they naturally build a community of verified, passionate users.
The trust is baked into the foundation.
Exactly, rather than being patched on later with an algorithm.
Well, let's take a step back and look at the whole journey we've just mapped out today.
It's been quite a ride.
We started by looking at the terrifying closure rates of physical retail. We established that simply pulling the security grate down and retreating to a basic website is a trap that bleeds cash and destroys brand loyalty.
A very expensive trap.
To survive, businesses are building omnichannel bridges. They are using headless architecture and AI to transform themselves into massive, scalable, multi-vendor marketplaces.
Right.
And most importantly, they're realizing that all this amazing tech is useless unless they cultivate community trust by anchoring their digital presence in real human micronetworks.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean for you?
Well, when you look at this trajectory, you realize these two worlds are crashing into each other.
How are you so?
If physical stores are evolving away from holding inventory and are instead becoming purely experiential hubs where you go to socialize and engage with the brand,
Right.
and at the exact same time, digital marketplaces are relying on tightly knit, localized community networks to drive their sales.
Yeah.
We are fast approaching a point where the line completely dissolves.
A physical store, a social media network, and a digital marketplace all just become one fluid ecosystem.
Yes. Eventually, the integration of these systems will be so seamless that you might not even realize when you've stopped socializing and started shopping.
That is a wild thought to leave on. The next time you are walking through a mall and you hear that heavy metal grate rattling down, remember, it isn't necessarily the sound of commerce ending.
No, it's not.
It's the sound of a business leaving the physical limitations of the old world and plugging into a massive hidden digital ecosystem running 24/7 right beneath our fingertips. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep your eyes open and keep exploring these hidden shifts in your own daily experiences. We will catch you next time.